All right, hey, how's it going there, everyone? Earthmaster here. It is 10/10, 2018, 8:06 p.m. my time here, and quite a bit of coverage here to talk about. A lot of activity with the Hurricane Michael, which is now still a Category 1 storm, making its way into the southern states there. Gust up to about 92 miles per hour, picking up speed as well, moving northeast at about 17 miles per hour. So this thing's degraded quite a bit for the longest time there. It was 150 mile per hour winds there, sustained with actually 155. I'm looking right here on a chart, was the maximum sustained winds. And that's pretty powerful, at least according to Weather Underground here. And that is just 1 mile per hour shy of a category, well, about 2 miles per hour shy of a Category 5 strength hurricane. But this thing did some damage, a lot of damage, some high storm surge, lots of destruction. Turn off that fan real quick. Sorry about that. Kind of annoying there. So this is definitely one of the, actually the deadliest hurricane in, most powerful hurricane in recorded history for the panhandle of Florida region. I think people underestimated the strength of this thing, or the potential that it was going to have. I remember taking a look at a couple different weather models, and they were all in agreement with this thing being possibly a Category 5 hurricane. I did call for a Category 4 well before it was even a Category 2 or 3. So the weather models, sometimes they're hard to figure out. But I think they were pretty accurate this time, really close to a Category 5 strength storm. One man has died. That's official. That's the news that I'm getting in regards to that. And I'm sure, unfortunately, I'm sure we're going to hear about more once everything's all cleaned up. But quite a bit of mess in the Panama City region, and other communities there, all along the Panhandle. Just complete devastation. Lots of buildings, houses destroyed, and lots of flooding going on out there. A couple friends on the storm chasing community were out there braving out the storm. Probably a little bit on the too dangerous side there. In their vehicles, some up in some parking garages there, trying to get some video and filming for some news agencies. They got overtaken by some storm surges, and they had to abandon their vehicles. Another parking structure collapsed on quite a few cars. As far as I know, everyone's accounted for in the storm chasing community, and everyone is safe for the most part, last time I checked. So just kind of scary situation there. I mean, folks are out there trying to get some video, and it's dangerous. Storm chasing is dangerous, and hurricanes are even just worse when they're close to Category 5 strength. So, but yeah, it's a scary situation there, folks, that the people went through. I mean, I can only imagine. I'm still seeing some videos and images popping out here. I don't want to show or rebroadcast anything, especially since there's a lot of video floating around that's not for broadcast or rebroadcast, written all over them. Those are the ones that they're trying to sell, make money from. But 155 mile per hour maximum sustained winds with Hurricane Michael earlier today, as it made its way over into the panhandle of Florida with a perfect circular eye. I did post a couple images on my Facebook page there at the Earthmaster, of well, some guy videotaped some images of the eye wall directly above him, just blue sky. And others, of course, are some devastation images and some crazy videos out there. So go check them out if you can. I know a lot will be coming in tonight and tomorrow and over the next couple days, and we'll try to cover some more of those as they become available. I just don't want to throw out any false information or any fake videos that people may try to, just throw in the pot there just to fool people. But anyway, definitely going to be up there around the one of the top 10 hurricanes, deadliest hurricanes, strongest hurricanes, I should say, for the United States here in history. Pretty crazy, folks. I was watching it off and on. I had to work today, so I didn't get a chance to really be on the stream too much. In fact, the radar image loop that I had on the stream froze up after a couple of radar sites got knocked down. Right as the strongest part of the northeast part of the eye wall right there just about came on shore there, came on land I should say, and took out a couple radar stations. So I lost a radar. I couldn't get to it to reset it or try to find a different one. So I apologize about that. But anyway, folks, in the earthquake department, there's quite a bit going on. A lot going on, some big time earthquake activity once again picking up on the Pacific Plate, and we're seeing it in the same locations that we normally do. Quite a bit of activity on the northwest corner of the Pacific Plate up there by Japan. And hold on one second here. Looking like the largest one out of that cluster of quakes right there is that 7.0 earthquake down in Papua New Guinea. Prior to that 7.0, they had looks like a 6.1, and some other activity down here in Indonesia region with a 6.0. Just a large cluster of large quakes all of a sudden today. A couple 5.9s following that 6.1, another 6.2 up here. 6.5 up around the Russia region. This activity right here tells me that there's definitely something bigger coming. How big? I'm not sure. But the Indonesia region there's no consistent large magnitude earthquake. We did see, like I said, that 6.0 followed up by where's the other one at? Okay, so we only had that 6.0 there around the Indonesia region, but east of that region there, that's where we're seeing the major earthquake activity, with the Papua New Guinea region having that 6.1 prior to the 7.0, and then followed up by many 5s and 6s. With the most recent large earthquake being this 6.5 right here. Just they got this thing set at 148 kilometers south of Russia, it looks like, with some more aftershock activity occurring there following that 6.5. But you have to take a look at the whole plate as a section, right? It's pretty much a jigsaw piece to a puzzle of a cracked egg, in this case, the planet Earth. Plate tectonics at work here. Things move. For one, you want to check the depths of these earthquakes out here. Seeing if we're getting a lot of deep movement. It doesn't look like it's a whole lot of deep activity. Roughly around 17 kilometers below the surface. We did have that 6.2 in Papua New Guinea at 124 kilometers. But even then, that's not really all that deep. deep would be this 4.6 right here in the Fiji Islands region. That one struck at about 579 kilometers below the surface. So anyway, what I'm getting at, folks, here is definitely a lot of movement on the northwest part and the southwest part of the Pacific Plate, this ring of fire. So with all this activity, we're looking at a pretty good quiet zone in between there, right? You guys see that? West Coast is always eerily quiet for some reason. Little bit of activity on the West Coast. I'll show you that here in a minute, but nothing major. What was that just came in there? Another 5.6 in the Indonesia region there. Kind of bouncing back and forth. Russia, Indonesia. You guys see that? Just bouncing back and forth. So in the meantime, in between those two quake areas right there, to the north and to the south, right around the, south of Japan, and in between those two clusters right there were just nothing. Not a lot of activity. Actually, none. At least far as 4.5 and above, I believe this is set at. And then U.S. is at 2.5 and above. But that's an area to watch, folks. With this bouncing back and forth earthquake activity, I think we might see a little bit more in the large-scale earthquake department just south of that region there in Russia. Just definitely be on guard, on watch for that region. You know, like I say, anything could happen anywhere, but when you get two different parts of a major plate kind of bouncing back and forth, it's something to pay attention to. California, real quick, folks, let me show you guys. Jump over here to the California map, West Coast map. A little bit of activity, but nothing big up there along the the northern coast up there. We're seeing a little bit of activity. I'm tired. It's just been a long day, folks, so bear with me if I'm dragging this out. 3.2 is that little. It's not even really worth mentioning, but I guess it is, because it is somewhat activity. It's earthquake activity, right, occurring off the coast of Northern California, but nothing big and nothing out of the ordinary, I guess I should say. Slow slip event detection is pretty quiet. Let me jump this on here. Actually, not a whole lot of activity over the past couple hours. Just a couple specks of deeper movement along the Cascadia subduction zone there, northwest of Redding, California. But other than that, there's not a whole lot along the West Coast. East Coast is the East Coast. Hold on a second here, folks. Yeah, East Coast, pretty quiet, right? There's that 3.2, a couple twos there along the West Coast as well. But like I said, these two sections right here on the globe that you can see, up here to the north, you got a couple 5s, 6s, and 4s bouncing in there. Around the Russia region, north of Japan, northeast of Japan. And then you got this huge cluster with the 7.0s down here in the Papua New Guinea region, with a little bit more pressure being applied over here towards Indonesia, with the latest as a 5.6. A whole lot of movement, and not a whole lot of release up here in between those two. So we'll keep an eye on this area, folks. That's something to watch. I wouldn't doubt it if we see that here real soon with this bouncing back and forth. I keep saying that, but it's definitely worth repeating. I'm sure there's a lot more I wanted to cover on Hurricane Michael, but it's just been a long, somewhat stressful day for me. But I officially begin a 5-week vacation. That's right, you heard me correct. 5 weeks of vacation. So I'm going to be on this channel and chat room a lot more. Be doing some different stuff, adding some new things, maybe doing a couple exploring videos, see if I can't check out some fault systems out here in California, and do some live videos and some recordings, just checking out fault systems, firsthand, up close, because that kind of stuff right there interests me. And there's a lot of fault systems out here in California. It's a spider web of fault systems down in Southern California, but we got them up here in Northern California as well. But anyway, I will discuss that a little bit later on. In the meantime, I just, there's like I said, there's a lot I should have covered, but there's just, you can only talk so much about destruction and chaos that the folks seen in the Panhandle of Texas today with Hurricane Michael. When more information becomes relevant and factual, I will post that onto the channel and also on my Facebook page. But for now, we'll end this update video. I will be back on here on the live stream tonight, so if you're not watching the live stream, come on over, and I'll key up the music here in just a little bit. We do have a live view of Yellowstone National Park up there. Old Faithful, you can kind of see her in the background huffing and puffing. Pretty calm looking skies out there, but pretty neat to see at night and also during the daytime. And also we got live web recorders from pretty much around the globe, bringing in live data even before the say if an earthquake happens there in Japan. We're going to see this thing pop up here on the live web recorder, the seismographs here on the left side of the screen, bottom, even before the USGS puts it out, and it shows up on the Earthquake 3D globe. So that's why I kind of like to consistently run that live seismograph stations there, just so we can see an earthquake happen and where it's at, and potentially see how strong it is as well. So anyway, folks, have a good night. We'll be back on the live stream here in a little bit. Peace. Stay safe out there.